Hey everyone, welcome back to Couch Critics, the show where Dave and I talk about a whole bunch of garbage. Back with you as always, alongside my co-host.
Me, I guess it's Dave. What's up, my buddy? How you doing, my man? How are things?
I guess. No,
Yeah.
I'm good, man. It's a Saturday. I had a short week this week because we had a teacher in service day on Friday because it
Oh
was the end
yeah.
of the quarter, so it was all about putting in grades, so no students. That was nice.
Don't you just put all A's or all B's and just walk away from it? Like, yeah, good enough.
No, I actually have to do progress reports and show growth and stuff because in special education, it's different than the grading is
Oh,
different.
what do you care about your job? Come on, man.
I actually
Just kidding.
care. Oh, come
Yeah,
on. You
good
really
on you.
care.
Good.
No.
Yeah, no, good on you, brother.
So,
Good on you.
so as we always do, this one's one of our special
Yeah, we have
interview
an interview, right? We
episodes.
have Bob from the Schnozzcast is going to be on here in a few
Bob,
minutes.
aka Gern Blanston, will be here
Gern
today.
Blanston, which is if you don't know, Google it because it's very funny.
It's a funny
Um,
skit or
But yeah,
sketch.
what I guess what we always do while we're waiting for him is, what have you been watching, my friend? What have you got going
So
on?
I have two things that I was going to highlight. Um, because we are filming this interview in the lead up to Halloween, I've obviously been watching way too many horror movies. And I watched one that is in its day back in 1985 when it came out. It was pretty much reviled by critics, audiences alike. Nobody liked this movie, but it's getting a new.
Back to the Future, right?
Yeah, exactly, because that's so
Everybody
horrific.
hated it.
No, it's A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge.
Hey, didn't we just talk about this in a recent episode or something like that? There's a dance sequence in it that I think is amazing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
So in Freddy's Revenge, it's Mark Patton is your main character, plays Jesse Walsh. He's a young high school kid, as they always are, and Freddy is starting to come after him. It was directed by this guy Jack Shoulder and written by David Chasky. So when this movie came out, people did not like it. It's a completely weird take on it. They don't necessarily follow all of the rules set up in the first Elm Street, whereas like Freddy is only able to come into the dreams and has to be pulled through. In this one, it's a little bit looser in how he can get out into.
Yeah, doesn't he just
The
show
real,
up in the real world? Like,
yeah, he just
he's
shows up in the
teaching
real world a couple of
class, or
times.
he's at the Dairy Queen handing out ice cream cones or something. Like, you're like, what's he doing
At a
here?
well, it's technically he's at a pool party and at an S&M club, but
Yes,
same thing.
He's
Dairy
working at one of those
Queen,
hibachi
S&M.
places, and he's helping grill with his.
Yep.
Anyways, I'm sorry, that's all
But
dumb.
in looking at it now, there are a lot of um, sort of LGBTQ plus themes going through the movie.
Okay.
Mark Patton's character can be read as a stand-in for that community, and I think looking at it now, because of the way that society has shifted, I think it does a lot of really important things in that way. You have Robert Rusler, who most people remember from as being Robert Downey Jr.'s best friend in Weird Science,
Okay.
playing the jock in this. But instead of being an a-hole, he's this character's friend. And so he's got this guy who is probably gay. He's got his beard, he's got his girlfriend. Kim Myers plays the girlfriend, but there's a lot of this weird homoerotic stuff going on throughout the whole movie. But one thing that never happens is you don't ever have any derogatory comments. In 1985, every movie threw out gay or whatever as an insult to people, and they don't do that. They actually treat it really well. The one negative that I did end up hearing about is David Chaskin, who wrote the screenplay, got pissed and said that Mark Patton ruined his movie because there shouldn't have been anything gay about this movie. He was just totally went on this anti-gay, anti-LGBTQ rant about it.
He went on a J.K. Rowling.
He did.
Why is this necessary for you to talk spiel?
Yeah. Yes, because
just shut up, J.K.
Yeah, it's absolutely. Yeah, JK's going to ruin a whole series of
generation of kids, a whole
yeah.
generation of kids who fell in love with reading because of her. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Anyways,
yeah.
But the David Chaskin kind of just made himself look like a giant fool because this movie actually is a very important movie in that sense. So it has a different flavor to the whole Freddy thing. But the other one, the thing that I actually watched that I wanted to talk about is there was Werner Herzog. We love Werner Herzog. He did this documentary called On Death Row, where he sits face to face with death row inmates in Texas. He delves into their final thoughts, how they live with the idea of knowing when their death is going to come. He discusses like the geography of Texas's death row system, because where they're housed on death row is like 50 miles away from where they actually go for the thing. But he gives it this, it's a very meditative view of mortality, punishment, and humanity. And he says in his little prologue at the beginning that as a guest in this country, he's not going to come out strong one way or the other, but he is absolutely against capital punishment. Yeah. But he wants to highlight these humans and the human side of things.
He was, by the way, born during Nazi-occupied Germany.
Yeah,
he was born in 1942. He's been pretty clear about his feeling about death camps and stuff like that.
And that's what he said. He said I was raised in a much different climate, in a much different world than this, so I am against it. But his interview style, it's more reflective rather than just giving easy answers. He does attempt to get some of the criminal. Well, he attempts to get all of them, but some of them refuse, and to actually go into detail about what it is that they did.
Yeah,
there is one guy who just steadfastly refuses to admit that he did anything wrong, even though he had the woman's DNA under his fingernails. She had his DNA under her fingernails. Like, they have the stuff to prove that this guy did it. It's not a hearsay thing. So it's a really weird.
Well, if modern politics has taught us anything, you just deny.
Right.
You
never admit.
No, I'm not. You are. Yeah. But anyways.
And then I did my whole rabbit hole thing, and I went and looked up all of the interviewees that he talked about. And I think of the whole list, I think it was 8 people. 2 of them are still on death row. 1 died before execution, and the other 5 were all executed in Texas. So it's really kind of has a depressing outcome. Like, it was rough. And one of the guys that he interviews, I found out later, it was like 2 or 3 weeks after his interview that his execution date came up. Like, it was, so it's a real kind of, it's a harder watch than I expected it to be. I was like, oh, Werner Herzog, he's fun. I like his way, the documentaries about his filming style and everything that he did. I always loved it. This is a little heavy, but anyway, that's what
usually death and death row are a little heavy.
But I got to admit, I was naive. I went in hoping that he was going to highlight some people that maybe the tables turned and they got reprieves or something. I was
all the Andy Dufresnes that he would be talking to, I think the conspiracy theory. The theory is Andy Dufresne actually did kill his wife, though, right? Like, he actually did kill her. They didn't really say that, and he says he didn't, but I think he actually did kill her. Isn't that what the theory is?
No, because they show who did do it.
Do they?
Yeah, the guy who is the tennis pro, and they shoot the kid who can prove that he did it.
Yeah.
Gil Bellows plays the kid they shoot. You got to watch Shawshank Redemption again.
Okay,
but no, I was hoping that even if they were guilty, that they were going to get a reprieve from the governor and be commuted to life in prison or something. Stupid me. But anyways, that's what I've been watching. What have you been watching? Hopefully, it's a little lighter.
It is a little lighter. Well, speaking of that, there's on death row. I wasn't going to bring this one up, but there's a movie called Convicts 4. It's a very small movie from 1962. I don't have the prep to remember who directed it and all the things about it, but it also deals with death row inmates. And it's a true story of a guy, I can't remember his name, the guy's name, who was on death row for a murder that he committed kind of accidentally during the Depression, and then was on death row and was about to be put to death, like an hour later, and the governor commuted his sentence and sent him to do life in prison. And when he went to this other place, he became a famous artist and taught people art and everything else, but used his art like went internationally spread. I'm just struggling to remember the guy's name. But anyways, that's Convicts 4, random, only because it ties into what you're saying.
Yeah.
But on another note, I did watch a movie and a TV show that are worth noting. But most notably, I watched Judgment Night, which you remember that from 1993.
Is that
Emilio Estevez, Stephen Dorff, Cuba Gooding Jr., Jeremy Piven, Dennis Leary, group of people. I saw it in the theater back in 93, I think, when it came out. And I didn't care for it too much then, but it fit all those things. The two things about it. One, my reevaluation of how they're overscoring movies so much. This movie is obnoxious. Like, it is obnoxious how overscored this thing is. But of all those people, Emilio Estevez, Jeremy Piven, Cuba Gooding Jr., Dennis Leary, Stephen Dorff, and some others. The only person whose performance is not awful to me and over the top or cheesy is Stephen Dorff.
Really?
Isn't that weird? Like, of those people, it seems like he would not put out the best performance. He kind of has the best performance in the whole thing. Nobody thought that then. I don't think anybody thinks that now. Right. But who wants to rewatch this movie but me? Do you remember this movie at all? Judgment Night?
I remember it happened. I remember I watched it.
It's roughly 1993, so it's pre-cell phones, everything else. And this group of guys are going to a boxing match, and they get stuck in traffic, and they're driving a giant motorhome for some reason. That Jeremy Piven's playing the same. Does. Jeremy Piven's driving the same. He's the same douchey, yuppie character that he always is. And then everybody else has their own little arcs. And Emilio Estevez is very timid and weak and meek and all these things, which is very strange.
Kind of him.
But his character's supposed to be like subdued because he's recently married, but he's overplaying it so much that he comes off like, I want to say, a little unstable or slow, let's just say. But anyways, until later, but that doesn't matter. But anyways, they're driving this giant RV through, they get stuck in traffic and miss the fight. So they were like, let's take the off ramp. They take an off ramp and start going into, like, let's just call it the ghetto.
Sure.
Of some city. And in that, they're lost. They can't find anything. This place is deserted. It looks like a post-apocalyptic horror movie. Like, there's bags blowing across the screen all the time. Like, there's wind, but no people. It's at night, all these things. And somehow they accidentally get themselves pulled into, like, a drug deal. Or somebody gets killed, some drug dealer gets killed, and then Dennis Leary decides he's going to chase after them because he's the one who killed this kid. Stupid. So they spend the whole time running through the ghetto neighborhoods, and they can't find a phone that works, and they're trying to call the police and all these things. Doesn't matter. Not a very good movie. But I think it's ironic that Stephen Dorff is the best performance in it. And speaking of somebody like a Stephen Dorff, real quick, is I wasn't a huge Ethan Hawke fan back in the 90s either. I didn't like either one that much. Maybe my age, maybe they were young and attractive and around my age. I was like, screw them. Why do they get to have everything?
Yeah.
But I wasn't a big Ethan Hawke fan. I didn't care for Reality Bites back then. I didn't follow those things. And Richard Linklater was too far off in the future for me to understand. There's a new show by Sterling Harjo.
Want to see it? Tell me, it's worth seeing.
Did you watch Reservation Dogs?
No, of course I didn't. You never told me to watch it, so I didn't watch it.
Reservation Dogs is very good. The first season especially, but they're all actually really good. It's clever.
This show that he's doing looks
amazing. The show that he's doing now is called The Lowdown, and it's basically Ethan Hawke is the lead. He runs a bookstore, but he's also kind of a private investigator. But like, he hands out Post-it notes with his name on it as his business card. So he's not a real private investigator.
Yeah.
But as watching the first 3 or 4 episodes, my wife and I love it. It doesn't seem to be super popular. It doesn't seem like people are talking about it, which is a shame because I think it's shot really well. I think the characters are super entertaining and I'm pulled in right away. So the only way I would describe it, and I had to come up with this, but it's like Fletch meets Indiana Jones meets The Big Lebowski.
Okay.
If you combine all those things, that's kind of what this is in a weird way. It's very Fletch, but if the character from Fletch was more like Lebowski. Yeah.
Right.
But with most of the plot lines are basically Indiana Jones. It literally feels like they just threw all that stuff together.
That's fun.
But it's good.
Yeah.
acting is good. The performances are good. Kyle MacLachlan's in it. He's good.
Yeah.
It's solid, worth watching, and I don't think anybody's watching it, so I hope they give it more of a chance.
Yeah. I will be watching.
And also shot in Oklahoma, near and all around the Native American reservations and stuff like that in the Osage areas.
I will say I wasn't going to talk about this movie because I have to talk about it tomorrow. I'm recording an episode of One Good Scare with friend of the show Will over at the Red Tree House and One Good Scare Pod. But you mentioned Stephen Dorff, so I'll shout it out. I've been watching The Gate because we're going to be recording an episode on The Gate tomorrow as we record this. But
that's awesome.
I get to be the special guest on his Halloween episode. So
hey, that's cool
for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Will's awesome too. That's a good show.
Lowdown. When I saw the trailer for that, because now with streaming, I think it's a Paramount Plus. It's on Paramount Plus.
It's Hulu.
Or it's Hulu, that's right. But now with Hulu, and anytime you click on a show, they want to show you like a 30-second spot before they go into the movie. And I'm fine with it. I'm not complaining about that because I saw the commercial for Lowdown. I'm like, oh, this looks awesome. So yeah, I gotta go give it a try.
I do ad-free Hulu, I think.
We have ad-free, but they still throw a 30-second clip in front of as the bumper to start a new show. Yeah.
Really?
I pay shit ton of money to not have ads and they still hide it in the front.
I bought Aviva, which is amazing, by the way, by Boaz Yakin. I bought that movie because I couldn't handle watching it on Tubi.
I watched it on Tubi the first time.
Everybody should watch it no matter what the format is. It's an amazing movie.
Find a way to watch it.
Yeah. But anyways, Lowdown, I do recommend it.
Yeah.
I think if you watch the first episode or two, you will say, "Oh my God, this is exactly Fletch, Indiana Jones, and Big Lebowski." You will understand that. And speaking of Bob from the Schnozzcast, they're huge Big Lebowski fans, so it's a good tie-in to that too.
And speaking of, let's go ahead and shift gears and bring Bob into the show right now. Hey, movie lovers and pop culture junkies. Welcome back to Couch Critics, the show where the seats are comfy, the takes are honest, and the conversation's always rolling. I'm your co-host, Josh, alongside Dave, and tonight we've got someone who knows his way around both a great story and a great laugh. You may know him as one of the hosts of the Schnozzcast, a podcast that mixes humor, heart, and just the right amount of chaos into every episode. Whether he's breaking down movies, debating life's weirdest moments, or swapping stories over a drink, he's always got the perfect blend of sharp wit and laid-back charm that keeps listeners coming back. On social media, you'll find him as @GernBlanston27, a name pulled from the classic Steve Martin bit, which already tells you this guy's got a deep appreciation for comedy. And yeah, when he's not talking film or podcasting, he's probably digging through vinyl because a true storyteller always needs a good soundtrack. Tonight, he's joining us on the couch to talk movies, podcasts, and the stuff that keeps us coming back to the screen. So settle in, grab your favorite drink, and get ready for fun. Thoughtful ride through the world of film and conversation. Please welcome to the couch, Bob, a.k.a. Gern Blanston himself. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you guys for having me.
Glad Absolutely.
To be here.
That was a good bio. That was a good bio, Bell. What do you think? How does it feel to have all that read out, Bob?
Well, I'm like, who is that guy? He sounds amazing.
I want that guy on my show.
I keep saying I'm waiting for my bio because it makes me sound amazing.
I'm in the process of parsing through 30 years of stories.
That's true.
Cleaning it up.
That's true.
It's coming.
Well, welcome to the show, Bob.
Yeah, welcome
Thanks,
in.
guys.
Yeah, I've heard the Schnozzcast quite a few episodes. It's a good show. You have a good group of guys there, good friends there and stuff. Do you start that? Was that you? You and Todd, right? Like, where did the idea come from? I guess I'm just gonna jump right in because I'm
how did it come to life? What's the story behind it?
It was 2017. It was myself and another guy who I went to college with. We were in the same frat, and he and I had been sending mixtapes to each other for like 30 years, right from college all the way up until my kids were grown. And I'm like, hey, I think I really want to do this. And this was back when podcasts were a thing, but they were still like a young thing. Like it was Kevin Smith and Rogan doing, really, really small versions of what they currently have. So we did one episode and it was over the phone, and the sound quality wasn't great. We had a good time, but it just kind of didn't go anywhere. So like a year later, my cousin Corey, and a couple of other friends. I'm like, hey, I think I want to go back to this. Are you guys interested? And they're like, absolutely. That sounds like the biggest waste of time I could imagine. Why would I bother? So I kept on hammering them, and finally they said yeah. And we sat around my kitchen table, and I had a MacBook, and I had one like Bluetooth microphone. I put it in the middle of the table, and we had like bottles of whiskey and beers and everything around, and we talked for like 3 hours, and we got incredibly drunk, and it was almost unlistenable, but everybody had a good time, and they wanted to come back the next weekend. So we did that, and slowly but surely, added a mixer and added different microphones and lights, and Corey's a big,
as it usually
GoPro
happens.
guy.
Yeah.
That's how it happens. So we got much better sound, much better video, and then we started to go, okay, what do we want this show to be? It can't just be 3 hours of talking about whatever. We need to polish it and figure out what it is. And so 50 episodes later, we've kind of got it, I think, where we want it right now. Yeah, myself and Corey, my cousin, who's also from Michigan, and then Todd, another frat brother who lives in Seattle, and the three of us are hosting it currently.
That's where he is. I didn't catch it. I've heard a bunch of episodes, and he keeps saying Pacific Northwest, but I didn't know exactly where that was. It's Seattle.
And Dave and I met in the Pacific Northwest. We both lived in Southern Oregon.
Yeah.
Okay.
That made me curious, but so it all started with the cell phone call, basically, or so with the phone call, and kind of built from there. Yeah, that's amazing.
What I found funny is your origin story is similar to Dave and I. It was you say, hey, I want to do this, and I'm like, man, that's a big waste of time. I don't want to do that. But where ours was, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, and that sounds like a big waste of time. I am in. Because we were both looking for something, an outlet, some way to waste time and to unwind. So it's funny that they both started in the same spot, but two were gung ho and ready to go.
Well, and typically these are all conversations we were having anyways. We just basically decided to record them for posterity, if nothing else.
Yeah.
To prove that we were stupid our whole lives. This isn't new.
If we had those conversations from back in our 20s, my God.
Yeah, we would go out to the bar and hang out and tell stories and jokes and make fun of each other. And we wanted the show to have that kind of feel, like you were there out at the bar with us, and we were telling stories and making fun of each other.
Right.
Yeah. That's pretty much what'll happen here. Cause like you'll see me every time Dave says, but I digress, I have to take a drink.
Yeah, we don't actually drink on the show. So you guys drink. You guys drink on. It's a standard thing to have a shot early on, right? Like that's a standard
thing to have shots throughout the show. Yeah.
Okay. Is it whiskey typically always, or is it something different every time?
It's we have settled on Fireball, because actual whiskey, like, there's no way you could make it through a show. You can't do 4 shots of whiskey and still have your wits about you. So Fireball's a little bit, it tastes just as bad as you think,
but just restrained.
But you can make it through a show.
Yeah, I got it.
So
yeah, we couldn't do that. I don't think I'd be coherent after a couple.
No.
If nothing else, I'd be unmotivated. I'd just start watching the TV behind me. I'd be like, what's on the movie?
Dave and I, not because of any like come to Jesus moments or anything, but we just organically stopped drinking.
Yeah.
In general, just one day we didn't order a drink, and it was like 10 hours apart. We both just magically decided to do it. So I'm not anti-drink. I'll still have a drink very occasionally, but that would not work well on our show because we'd have all like.
Yeah, I'll have a drink. It depends on what I'm doing the next day.
I have to have nothing planned.
It's unfortunate.
But so the drink through the shots throughout the night, the humor and storytelling, and 350 episodes. At what point did you really dial into the format that it is now? Because 300. Obviously, I couldn't go through 350 episodes to see where you're at.
Nor would I suggest that you do that either. I think I was very clear about that. Like, don't go back to the beginning.
Oh, I heard I heard the first Facebook Live episode. I think I watched that one, which is like I don't know. It's many years ago now, 5 or 6. I don't know how many years ago it was, but I watched that one. Yeah. A lot of stuff to figure out. It looked like
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah.
but yeah, we like I said, we started off just like we didn't really care how long. I mean, because at the time I'm like, well, Rogan goes like 3 hours. We could do 3 hours. And we quickly figured out, I think after like 50 episodes, we're like, this isn't, who is going to listen to this? There's no way someone's going to spend, one day, much less several days,
Yeah.
trying to work their way through one episode. So we settled on an hour. Like, let's make it an hour.
Hours
Like,
the mark.
Just like you guys, if you go under that, that's fine. If you go over, that's okay. I mean, I'm not going to stop it at an hour if we're like in the middle of something that's hilarious.
Yeah, of
Just
course.
let it go. It's done. And then, we needed to put some structure on the show. Like, we would just show up and go, okay, record, and then just start talking. And you would get all these pauses and a lot of ums and uhs and things like that. And when a story's over, like, now who's gonna take it to the next point? So we started to put in segments, and at least as a driver to move the show from point A to point B, if something comes to a natural end. And that really helped a lot. But it also meant that every one of the hosts needed to come loaded for bear on, what to talk about during those segments. And that took a little while and a lot of arm twisting to get that to happen.
I'm sure. Sometimes your co-host can't even be here at 12 o'clock like they say it would be. I mean,
no matter how many
life happens,
no matter how many early warnings are sent.
True. Very true.
No.
Very true.
But if you're not going live, it doesn't matter what time you start, right? You're like, you don't even have to tell. No one even has to know that you were late.
If it's just Dave and whatever time it ends up working is generally fine. It's when we have a guest that
I guess it's a big deal.
Anal nature.
Yeah, of course. In mine too, usually we're 30 minutes early. But also, even if it was just you and I, Belle, like, I feel disrespectful to my partner to,
well,
if I'm running it. I'm always the one who's late. Let me put it that way. Right. Let's be clear.
But
in life and in general, and if somebody's late to the show, it's always me. It's never Josh.
But generally speaking, I'm getting a text from Dave before the time we're supposed to start saying, hey, running late. Today, I got a little nervous because I wasn't getting the message. I was like, what's going on?
I was having a panic attack. That's all right. It's all good. Those are fun to start the day with and everything else.
Yeah. No, so it happens. Yeah. But I got to ask, where does the name Schnozzcast? Where's the name?
Oh, it was the shared profile between me and Phil, my frat brother, who started that very first episode.
Okay. Let's call back.
Prominent noses. That, and I wanted something that, it's hard to come up with a name that wasn't already taken. And then I got a friend of my daughter's to do the artwork, which was a take on Zappa's album with the witch, the cover, Saving a Drowning Witch, something like that. I can't remember the exact name of the album title, but I'm like, I want it to look like that. And she sent it back with a nose and a microphone. I'm like, that's done. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I do.
That's the one.
Here's $100.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. That's too fun.
And a membership to the club to listen to it.
Yeah. Come on in. And I'm looking at the Zappa album right now, A Drowning Witch, and it's definitely, you see the logo. That's awesome.
That's it. Yeah.
Awesome. So don't tell copywriters that.
Right. It's homage.
You just got yourself in trouble, Bob. Yeah, it's a parody. It's a parody of that album cover.
You need to have a particular level of audience in order for anyone to care about
at all.
That's why we regularly play Beatles songs and Metallica songs, and right. Who cares? No, we don't.
Nobody
would even notice if we were doing
that. Now, do you guys go on YouTube at all? Do you put your stuff on YouTube? Or
no.
Don't you get kicked off of YouTube for those songs?
No, because Dave's being a smart ass. We don't actually.
Apologies. No, I was getting all jealous. I'm like, I would love to play music like
that. The only thing that I've ever done that YouTube lets me know that I am close to getting a warning is when I do I did a voiceover where I talked about the new John Candy documentary when the trailer dropped and what the trailer meant to me. And because I had the trailer, no sound, just me talking and the trailer playing behind me, I got a warning that some of my material is copyrighted but it is okay because I was following fair use. But I got the warning that I was close. So
Okay.
it really comes down to how you're using it and why. And because I was just saying, this is what I feel when I watch this. I know that, which is why I still haven't watched the documentary. I know I'm going to cry, and I'm not ready to do that.
Yeah, it's on my list too.
John Candy.
John Candy. Love John Candy.
It's on my list too.
So,
We've got
I
episodes
wanted to
kicked
ask,
off just because like one of my co-hosts will start to sing, like we'll sing a lyric to a song, and so I naturally have to sing the next one, and then we'll just go back and forth and trade.
Yeah,
and the next thing you know, we yanked your episode.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
And I did an episode of the Wednesday Night Frights show where we were just reviewing trailers for the rest of the year, and that one actually got blocked in a couple countries.
Oh wow.
Not blocked in the US, still able to watch in the US, but it was blocked in other countries because we were showing the entire trailer, and the trailers, for whatever reason, don't follow their guidelines or whatever. Maybe they're too violent, or I don't know. I don't know what countries. I didn't look too deep, but
different rules, man, everywhere you go.
Yeah. A bunch of disappointed people in Bulgaria.
Exactly.
All my Bulgarian fans are.
They're like, "Where's Cinematic Nightmares?" That's the Come on, I need my Wednesday Night Frights.
Yeah, you're fine. Yes, we're grown ups. Yeah. No, I will tell you that generally speaking, Dave and I don't curse a whole lot, but if it fits, it's happening.
Well, Josh is a school teacher, so he's kind of gotten in the habit. We're not usually big swearing people either, but I'm in construction. I don't know why I don't. I guess because most of the guys I work with speak
doesn't
Spanish.
Make any sense.
I'd be swearing in Spanish if anything, and it doesn't mean the same thing. So
no, it's perfectly welcome if it is your normal vernacular or it fits a story and it provides color. Absolutely use it. I got no problem.
Good to know.
We have no problem.
Do your students, are they aware of this show?
So I teach special education for 5th and 6th graders, so they know the show exists, but they're not big podcast listeners.
They're also younger, so they're like, podcasts? Who listens to podcasts anymore?
Yeah, they're all 5th and
they're the next generation. They don't give a crap about what we do.
I used to be a middle school, and I used to teach at a private school that was middle school and high school, and I actually taught a podcasting class. So those students, they do follow me and they do watch, but they're all juniors and seniors in high school at this point. So,
how will it feel when we get like 50 or 60 listeners in a normal week? And then one of those students has a show that's getting 5,000 to 6,000 a week.
It's just him making fart noises and saying Roblox.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much the whole vernacular they have. We tried; it didn't work, and we kept getting blocked on YouTube. I'm just kidding.
So
no fair use there.
On Schnozzcast, you guys have done a ton of crazy different episodes, wild topics. Is there a time when it, and I mean this in a good way, but when the show just went completely off the rails?
Off the rails? In what way?
There have to be because of the alcohol alone.
Right, I'm just thinking, like, you went one shot too far. And, and it just went wild, and it just got silly, and you're like, I don't know if I can post that, if this one can.
We were talking before the show, Josh, and you said something that we believe is that when I'm editing the episode, I typically edit the audio and Corey edits the video. When I'm doing the audio, I'm looking to cut out all the things that are just like dead air pauses or ums or uhs where, someone was trying to fumble for a word and it just doesn't make, if it's audio only, it makes it a lot smoother to listen to. But other than that, I'm not cutting anything out. The dumber, the better. I guarantee you there's been a couple of episodes where I've actually been told that I cannot drink red wine on the show anymore. Because if I have red wine, I am putting the bottle on the table and I'm drinking from the bottle like as one does. Shout out to Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam. That's his normal concert routine. And by the time the show's over, like something about red wine, I have a great time, but apparently it's like, you shouldn't drink that anymore in the show.
That's funny.
Stick to
I just have to
one man party. Yeah, Josh has ice cubes in metal cups, but Yeah, it's like a one-man party. So if you're drinking the red wine, is not everybody else not drinking red wine, or how's that work?
Yeah,
Do
no,
you
I
guys all
just
drink
wanted
the
to.
same thing? Isn't that kind of what you guys do?
No,
Okay.
Todd's got a new thing like every week because he's
Oh,
out by
that's
himself.
true. He has a different, like the colada or the lime beer, whatever it was that he had, lime marita. That's what it was. The last one I
He's
saw.
a big sound guy, but he's
Yeah.
also got a manservant that goes out to the store and gets him, the top shelf stuff, which the rest of us can't afford.
Right.
That's what he does. But every once in a while, you gotta change it up. I'm like, I can't.
I'm so
You're
cheap.
like, it's Saturday, I can't do Fireball again. I
Yeah.
can't.
Right.
Just gotta,
Well, and I'm so cheap. I buy the knockoff 5-hour energy shots. Like,
Tweaker.
oh,
Is there a 5-hour joke called Tweaker?
what is that?
That's
It's
amazing.
it's called
I've
Tweaker.
never heard of that.
I have not either.
They sell it at the Walmart gas station for $1.
Does
That
it
makes
come with the
sense.
glass pipe? Does it come with a glass pipe and a little lighter?
You got overcharged for that.
Is the little bottle made of glass? Is there a carve hole in the top of it?
And it's got a single-use syringe with it.
Yep.
That's cool.
Everyone behind the counter has already been opened.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
And
But
used.
I love it. Well, and my favorite part is that it says $1.99 right here, and Walmart sells it for 97 cents. So I'm like, I'm getting a deal.
I think
And they lie and say that's 2 shots.
I
So it's
do
only
5-hour shots. I think I think I spend like $1.25 a piece because I buy the case, Bell.
Yeah.
I'll send you a couple of cases. Don't worry, I know a guy.
I know.
Okay.
When you walk into Walmart, it's like $3.50, $4 for a 5-hour energy. It's $1 for this.
So I think that's
Right.
I think that's the opposite, Bob. Is that we're caffeinating the whole time, and you guys are depressing it down, which I think is amazing. It'd probably be a lot of fun, but I think it would be hard to keep focus of a group, especially. I did see some episodes that seemed like they had a lot of people. It was just some of the early stuff, like a round table of the Knights of the Round Table, if you will, and then obviously there's a bunch where it's just the 3 of you and things like that. When you have a larger group, how do you keep track of everybody? I guess is what it is.
That's why we stopped doing it. You don't. It's just sometimes it's chaos.
Turns into
there's a lot of crosstalk. It's a problem that we continue to have. We keep getting better and better, little by little, every week. But
sure,
you got to learn to let someone else finish a point.
Yeah.
If you have a joke or a comeback, you have to wait because you just it's hard to follow.
Yeah.
Right.
I still have that problem. Yeah. I interrupt Bell all the time. I'm interrupting you all the time. I interrupt every guest, but it's all right. I've gotten so much better. Let's put it that way.
It's our shit. We interrupt everybody.
Right.
As far as the drinking, we wanted it to be. We release on. We normally go live on Saturday nights, and we wanted people to feel like, oh, if you couldn't go out to the bar and you're staying at home, but it's 9:00 and the kids are in bed, like you can have a drink with us and you can hang out and we'll listen to stories. We're live on YouTube, so you can join the chat and participate, and that's what we're looking for.
You get a lot of response. You get a lot of response with those. Like, it's what's your viewership typically? Not great, or
it's not great. It depends on it depends on the night. It depends on the topic. It depends on who else is already in the room and where the conversation is going. Sometimes if it gets a little too scatological, like you'll see people pop up and then they'll pretty much immediately disappear.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's fine. This is not for everybody, but we found it hilarious. So at some point you're like, oh, someone else will as well. So
yeah, I mean, you do it for yourselves, and because that's a good enough reason. I'm just curious because live seems to be a tricky one to sort out for us.
It is a tricky one. Yeah, we were talking about that before you joined as well. If we didn't go live, it would be so much easier.
Yeah,
so much easier.
Yeah,
we're not beholden to the schedule. If we mess up, if all of a sudden I give Dave the look, he knows we're going to stop recording because I got to run to the shitter.
Like, yeah, there's always something that happens.
It allows us a little bit. it rarely happens, but it allows us that safety net that we can do those things.
We always plan that, though. We make some thing. I'm like, hey, let me get my list together. Let's come back and talk about that. That's how you take a break. But you can't do that live because the audience sees you leave your microphone and walk away. They hear the toilet flush and all that stuff.
Well, that's because you record in a bathroom.
Stop bringing the mic into the bathroom.
Where else would I have it? That's where I'm set up. What are you talking about? It's the quietest room in the house. It's the only room without the goddamn cats in it.
So I got to ask, obviously Steve Martin, because Gern Blanston, but with comedy being a huge part of your show, who are your biggest influences when it comes to the type of comedy that you use or that you kind of model after, that informed your humor?
I love improv comedy, so I love watching Whose Line Is It Anyway? I love watching. There's a 3-episode special on Netflix called Middleditch and Schwartz with Ben Schwartz and Thomas Middleditch, which is fantastic. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that. And anything that makes it look like they're really kind of pulling off a magic trick. You watch any Will Ferrell movie, if you watch Step Brothers, you watch Anchorman, and based on research that they did 20, 30 takes of that, and they just let them go off in any direction they wanted, off script, and normally that's what they used, and that's fascinating to me.
Yeah. Have you seen? You know who Adam Pally is? Adam Pally. He's an actor in the new group of people. I just saw his special last night. It was on HBO. I think it premiered. It's actually kind of funny. I don't know if it's super funny, but it's fascinating. It's just him up on stage with a bunch of instruments, guitars. He doesn't do stand-up. He's pretty clear about that, but he gets up and he'll play music, but he doesn't have the rights, speaking of, to any of the music. So they have to cut that out of the HBO broadcast of this whole thing. It's all kind of funny. Yeah, it's all kind of funny. And it works into the whole theme of it. But it seems like everything he's doing up on stage, and even showing up to the venue with a cart full of instruments, stuff like that, was just kind of like thrown together. Like no planning, no nothing. But it works. You should. I don't know if you're curious on HBO. It was on last night. I think it premiered. It's called Intimate Evening with Adam Pally. But anyways, it's exactly what I think what you would be interested in. So just out of curiosity, it's good. And shout out to that show, which I didn't know I would be so fascinated that I would watch it for an hour, which I did.
Right.
I couldn't stop watching it. Like it was one of those kind of deals, I don't know if I was laughing, to be honest with you, but I definitely could not stop watching it. So anywho. Yeah.
It's only 57 minutes. That looks like it. I just put it on my watch list, so
I watched it for 3 extra minutes because I wanted that full hour.
You watched it for a whole lot. Yeah.
Josh is going to watch this. There's no way I'm beating him.
I'm going to do it. I'll see your 60 minutes. I'm going to do it in 59.
There you go. Anyways, just to say that in that same vein for that kind of comedy, because I love off the cuff. Excuse me. Like I couldn't imagine doing any kind of this show fully scripted or anything. That'd be insane.
Right.
Like, I don't know how. Not only would it be boring to me, but I don't want to perform that way. That's just not how I want to be. Dumb and mess up my words nonstop and everything that I'm consistently doing.
Which is why. And again, as Dave was dealing with his technical difficulties, Bob and I, when we were talking off air, I was explaining how our dynamic kind of works, where I am a huge note taker. I have lots of notes. I have questions, and Dave is very off the cuff. So Dave keeps it funny, keeps it flowing, and I keep it moving forward. So it's just a dynamic that works really, really well.
I have one note. It just says, "Have a great show." It's from my wife. That's my only note. Okay, we'll do.
Like in the end, though, my only job is to make sure that at some point in our conversation, we steer it to something that has our buddy Gerrit Graham, because he's sort of the mascot of our show. If you don't know who Gerrit Graham is, he's in Used Cars. He's in Phantom of the Paradise. He plays Bud the Chud in Chud 2. We love him. He's our show's mascot.
Yeah.
If there was one actor or musician who embodies the spirit of your show, who would
Gerrit Graham? Yeah.
For him, but for
Sorry.
Schnozzcast, who would it be?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a really good question. I think it would be Conan O'Brien.
Oh, yeah.
If I had to pick one, that sort of sensibility where you feel like he's just barely holding on. He's trying to figure out how to get to the next thing, and then somehow he'll do it, and even he'll be amazed that he did it. But then he'll just keep on going. He's probably the closest I could think.
Yeah,
that would be a good inspiration.
He's got a good podcast too.
Yeah, his podcast is sort of an inspiration to how we kind of do ours. The feedback, not the feedback, the chemistry between him and his normal team that sits with him, and then the guest coming in, and he's got that effortless but awkward way about him. And
he has this thing where he's really thirsty, like, and so my wife did not like him very much. And when we first married, we got dated 15 years ago, but I kept saying, you have to understand that he does seem desperate. He is a little bit like, she also thought Chevy Chase for so many years seemed like she didn't like him because she thought he was trying to get a laugh. I said, well, he is. He's trying to get a laugh, but he's trying to do it in a different way than maybe, you normally see. But that doesn't mean he's thirsty, or it doesn't mean he's all these other terrible things. Like Chevy Chase is just trying to do silent movie comedians. That's what the slapstick and all the pratfalls and stuff are. And then Conan O'Brien's just desperate for attention, but somehow it works. He's the only person who can make it work and charming somehow,
Well, he puts it right on Front Street. He's desperate for attention. He will tell you that he is.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, right in the title of his podcast, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend.
True. It's very funny.
Right. He is not hiding from the fact that he just wants people to look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
and those friends don't have to be famous either. They could be any guy off the street.
That's exactly right. It's almost better if it's the guy selling hot dogs. Yeah.
Recognize me, talk to me. Make me feel good.
Validate me.
Right. That's one of Dave's go-tos. Towards the end of the show, Dave will always ask our audience to validate us.
Yeah, give me something, man. Keep me understanding why this is worth it.
So on the podcast,
what's that?
A card for that? You got a card for that?
Yeah, I'm just looking for it right now.
You like me?
Yeah,
put it right up on camera.
It says like yes, me? No, and
yes, no, maybe.
We'll see. There's one of the things. Now, one says question marks, or one's who are you, like that.
And they always draw an extra box saying "Go away."
I knew I shouldn't have put all those extra check boxes in there.
Lesson learned.
So, when we were talking before, I mentioned that editing is my absolute least favorite thing to do with podcasting. As someone who's got 350 plus episodes now, what is something about the act of podcasting, the getting it together, whatever it is, that you wish more listeners, more of the general audience understood about what we're doing, what we do?
I mean, I think I even just talking to you guys, I'm realizing, now that you're kind of peeling the curtain back a little bit, that you prepare a lot more than I realized that you did. And that's the thing that I don't think
anybody.
Cat's out of the bag.
Yeah. I don't think anybody who watches us regularly understands that we do prepare every week.
Yeah.
We have a production meeting every Wednesday. If we're going to have a guest, we want them on that meeting. We want to do a quick introduction, and I want to know what they want to talk about and what they don't want to talk about. Even just to do a show where it's just me and Corey and Todd, just a normal show, there's prep. There's what are we going to talk about? What notes do we want to hit? That's the kind of thing that, but then I think the trick is then to make it look as though you didn't prepare anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's 100% our goal for sure, is to look
not
like
to be,
we
not to be news readers. I don't want to be a news reader.
Right.
And in local forecasts.
Though I will say that the internet has made my ability to do a little bit of research in advance so much easier. My life is so easy because like everything that I read, like in the opening, is all stuff that I found just by checking you out on Threads, Instagram, and YouTube. Like I find everything that I need to know about somebody. Though if Dave and I have been tremendously lucky with some of the guests we've had, from Eric Miller, Boaz Yakin, Spider Dabrowski, Isabella Hahn, amazing actress, young actress that we've been able to talk to on this show. And with those, when it's somebody that I'm like, oh my God, you're doing my dream. I do take the note taking and the research a little more serious because I want them to tell me, what are you? So Eric Miller, he's an author, he's a screenwriter. I want him to tell me, what is it that you want to highlight on this show? This is your chance, and that's what I'm going to study. Because we had Boaz Yakin. I don't know if you're not familiar with who Boaz Yakin is, but he's the guy who directed Fresh, Remember the Titans, Safe. He wrote Now You See Me, big time. And he was coming on the show, and when I asked, what is it that you want to focus on? What do you want to highlight? He said, I'll talk about my old stuff, but I really want to highlight these my two most recent movies. And David, it was
self-financed recent movies. Which, by the way, just to throw this out there, one of them was Aviva. It is not for everybody, but it's one of my favorite movies. I never would have watched it had this, big time director not said, this is my new project. If you guys have time, check it out. And I love it so much. But anyways,
it's things like
I digress.
Also, but again, there's some, but he digresses. Oh, sorry.
I was waiting for that. I knew it was coming at some point.
No, but like you say, the amount of homework, even having people that are on the same level as us. You, Adam, Will from the Red Treehouse, Mika when she came on, the amount of prep work that we do, because we aren't just going to we're not, all right, here comes Bob from some podcast I've never heard of or listened to. No, I listened to it while I was doing paperwork at work. Dave listens to it while he takes his 8-hour commute to work every day.
I got through 325 episodes of your show. I didn't get through all of them.
Man, come on, you were almost there. You just had to work a little harder.
I have to work Monday. I'll listen to them all in that commute. The rest of them. It's a long drive.
That's the thing, though, when you talk about the prep work to still be off the cuff, is I refuse to be fake. I'm not going to pretend that I know who you are. I'm not going to pretend that I know your show. I actually have to experience it so I can talk from that show, which is where the last question in our little hot seat segment came from, because I paid attention.
Was this the hot seat?
No. Remember, we're workshopping a name for the 10 questions at the end.
Oh yeah, okay.
We're still workshopping a name. It hasn't come in.
That's
but
right.
At this point,
I like the hot seat, though.
It was the lightning round before, wasn't it?
It was the lightning round, but it can't be a lightning round because I don't want you to go fast. I want you to think about it.
What about my biscuits are burning?
There you go.
Biscuits are burning.
The biscuit burner.
But at this point in the show is where I would normally want to pivot to. That's the dumbest thing I'll do all day. Yeah, but I love it, so we did it anyway.
Our number one fan loves it. But anyways,
this is the part where you would bring up the movie that you told us that you would want to highlight and talk about.
Yes. Are we there yet?
I failed. If you can see the deer in the headlights look on Dave's face right now, that's because I am a terrible partner. I failed to tell Dave.
What was the movie? Homework. What was the movie?
So you didn't forget. Josh never told you.
I never told him.
Wow.
I never told him.
This is all. You know how foolish this is. I was going to reach out and ask you that yesterday, Bill. But instead, I listened to a bunch of the Schnozzcast episodes. What's the movie?
I sent the message the other day saying, Dave said, what do I need to know before the show? And I listed off Schnozzcast on YouTube. This is him on whatever. I gave him all that stuff. I forgot to tell him the guest request.
What's the movie?
This is all on me.
Well, I kind of hold this whole podcast in my hands now, don't I?
You do.
Yes, you do.
It is Heat by Michael Mann.
Oh, okay. I can talk about that.
We can still talk.
It's been probably 4 years, but I can talk about it.
Yeah,
but,
totally fine.
So once you've announced it, I normally go into this thing where I give a quick synopsis, and I thought it would be funny. It would say, Heat is a great pick. It's got action, attitude, and two absolute legends going toe-to-toe. Sandra Bullock, Melissa McCarthy, starring as an uptight... No, wrong movie? Shoot. No. So Michael Mann, the 1995 epic, not the buddy cop comedy with Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, that's the one I watched. Which one are we talking about?
Exactly.
I forgot there was another Heat.
See?
Wow.
No, so Michael Mann's Heat from 1995, pure chaos, bullets, and existential dread under the Los Angeles streetlights. Robert De Niro plays Neil McCauley, a meticulous professional thief who lives by one rule: never get attached to anything you can't walk away from in 30 seconds flat if you feel the heat around the corner. On the other side, you've got Al Pacino as Lieutenant Vincent Hanna, an LAPD detective who's every bit as obsessive, driven, and self-destructive. As the man he's chasing, their worlds collide over one of the most iconic heists ever put on film. But what Heat is really about isn't crime or cops, it's about obsession. It's about men who are so good at their jobs, they've forgotten how to live outside of them. Note that last portion right there. The Sandra Bullock thing, that was all me. This part, when I actually talk about the movie, I stole that from the internet. I did not write those words. I have to let the world know that I do cheat sometimes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. The 1995 movie Heat is our guest request, directed by Michael Mann, starring just a who's who of some great people from the 90s. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer, Tom Sizemore, even Ashley Judd. Great movie. So our first question, as always, what is it about this movie? Why was this the pick?
Well, I'll tell you exactly why. I'd watched it because I heard a rumor that all of my Warner Brothers DVDs were going to be experiencing dry rot. And I'm like, no, what do I do? I have to check these. So I pulled them all out of my shelf and I started putting them in one by one, and I got to Heat, and thankfully it was fine. But I'm like, oh man, I haven't seen this movie in forever. I forgot how good this was.
You have to watch each one all the way through to make sure that it's working.
Not all the way through, but I'm like, oh, that's really good. Yeah, I've got a couple hours to kill.
Well, he got 2 hours and 47 minutes through it. He let the last 3 minutes of credits. It's probably good.
Yeah,
I'll put that in the Adam Pollock thing.
I'm like, that's enough. But then the next day, I got an ad. I was, doom scrolling through Instagram, and there was some ad because the internet was listening to me and had heard that I had watched Heat. Yeah. And they're like, you know what just came out in 4K? Heat. What? Yeah. Amazon, buy now. And the next morning, I'm like, I guess I'm watching Heat again. And I think right after I had watched it in 4K is when you responded back to my email, and you're like, what movie you want to pick? I'm like, well, I think I know what this is going to be. This is easy.
Easy pick.
Heat with Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, which is fantastic.
Perfect.
Now, do you think Melissa McCarthy was miscast in? I'm just kidding. I barely remember that movie.
Done Lieutenant McCauley better.
To be fair, I actually think I liked that movie.
Sandra Bullock, Melissa McCarthy. It wasn't a bad movie. I just thought it was a funny joke.
And I like what's his name, the guy who made it. But anyways, the best dressed man in Hollywood. Heat's amazing. It's a great flick. So it's a good one to pick, right? Michael Mann. Recently, we talked about Thief, which I don't know if you've ever seen Thief. Yeah. It's one of his first movies, Bob. Yeah. But I hadn't watched it until like a few years ago, and so I kind of went back through this whole Michael Mann thing. And tried to watch a lot of his other stuff, Collateral and all those things like that. Heat is great. We talked recently, Belle, if you remember, about how everybody focuses on the coffee shop scene in this movie, which is, but it's great. Like they're getting these two powerhouse actors together, and all that stuff makes sense. But there are so many phenomenal things that they get overlooked, I think, in this movie because everybody's focused on waiting for these titans to come together. Just one opinion, but they will always be, my first thought is always going to be that Hollywood shootout, that LA shootout scene, because of the realism and the way he shot it and the frame speed and all those things like that. They gave it that gritty, real feel.
It almost gives it the newsreel feel. Like that's you're watching the documentary. I this morning, just to get back in the visuals of it, because I got to do all my prep work. I watched the original Warner Brothers trailer for Heat, and oh my god,
how did that hold up? Did it dry rot, the trailer?
It's dry rot.
By the way, I didn't know anything about this dry rot stuff. Now I'm just thinking in my head of all the Warner Brothers stuff I have. Like my Bugs Bunny DVDs? No way.
Yes. I watched every Bugs Bunny short again just to check.
Just to check. That's hilarious.
Is that a real thing? The dry rot of the Warner Brothers stuff?
I swear to God.
Oh shoot!
I'm like, how many Warner Brothers DVDs do I have? I'm like, I have a lot.
Yeah, I should too.
Very bad.
I have close to 4,000 DVDs. Some of those have to be Warner Brothers movies.
What's the life? I'm sorry to totally off topic. What is the life of a disc? How long does it last? Like, is it like 15 years or I have no idea. I'm curious. They may know.
Yeah.
It's not. I guess
No
it's not
idea.
forever, right? Because all media ends up destroyed. Even digital stuff that's being stored on a hard disk somewhere, like obviously deteriorates over time. Which is how sad is that? That's why we lost all of our great silent movies. But
digital stuff doesn't deteriorate over time. You get to just keep on replicating it to newer media.
Yeah, if they keep upgrading it and everything else.
Yeah.
But there's a sense that it's gonna it'll all go away. It'll all get lost. Which is the preservation, film preservation stuff is the effort to transfer all that stuff to a media and then keep transferring it between the two like that. Right. Basically.
To keep it up. But the trailer, the original Warner Brothers trailer for this movie, it is cut as though they're trying to highlight it as the next Michael Bay film, not Michael Mann. It is the worst trailer, and the main focus of the trailer is here's a big explosion, here's a car accident. Oh, and for the first time ever, Al Pacino and Robert De Niro on screen together. That was the 2-minute trailer. I was like, this is, I would, if I had seen this trailer then or remember seeing it, I wouldn't have wanted to watch this movie. But I'm glad that I did because it's an absolutely fantastic. But the trailer is so bad.
Yeah, it's not a Michael Bay movie. Like
it's not. But the trailer,
if you like Michael Bay, good on you. Don't yuck yums
whatever,
and stuff like
thing. That. As our logo says, we're not here to yuck your yum.
Yeah, I gotta know what you got. What's your opinion of the? I know you said, hey, Dave, you're like, hey, everybody thinks about the diner scene, but the shootout scene is the best scene. I agree with you. But when it comes to the diner scene, well, what's your take on the fact that when you watched it, you realized that there was no scene in which they were together? It was a 2-camera, filming simultaneously, so they could cut it and edit it as needed. But there was no shot in which in the movie they are together.
It's like a waste.
Your thoughts?
Right?
Waste of time?
Yeah, it just seems like a waste. It seems like a waste of that what they had going there. But it kind of makes you wonder if they're both in the same scene at the same time.
Were they actually together? Were they playing off each other, or were they playing off a stand-in?
Or is one guy sitting there reading sides off to something totally different while he's just sitting there doing his lines
of them shooting it with them both sitting in the booth. But other than that, there is no footage that I've seen of them in the same shot.
You think it's because each one was rolling their eyes at the other one the whole time when they were talking?
trying to break each other.
I mean, because listen, Pacino, I don't know. He's sometimes, I love the guy, but he hams it up a little bit, and he goes really big, and he
when
gets
I was watching this movie, it really felt like Al Pacino is playing it so much bigger. Like he's straining to not explode out of his own skin a lot of times in this movie.
Correct.
De
Niro's the opposite, in my opinion.
Because he's on the edge. Far more reserved.
De Niro is the opposite of that, which I think is more my style of performing.
Right.
I take that back. Abstain. But anyway, so I'm trying to find another word other than digress, but it's really hard at the top of my tongue. But anyways, I think it could have possibly been just their two styles didn't interact, and they probably really didn't like doing that scene, right? What other movies have they done together since then? They had any other scenes than anything else?
The Irishman, I thought, didn't they?
Yeah, they did in that. Wasn't very big though.
No, not as big.
Are they only in the 3 movies? They only have 3 movies where they appear in the same movie together. Godfather 2, obviously, where they're 2 different timelines, so they're never together. Heat, where you never see them together, but you know they're together. And then The Irishman, right? Is there another one?
I don't think there is. There has to be a reason for that, to be honest. There has to be.
Yeah.
They're both so magnetic. They're such A-list stars that it's hard to get to, even just to get DiCaprio and Brad Pitt together in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah,
it takes a particular type of story to pull them in, where an A-list actor isn't going to feel like he's going to get out upstaged by another A-list actor.
Well,
which
I
is
think that's
likely why it doesn't happen a whole lot.
And I think Brad Pitt is the one person where he can do that, because as weird as it is, Brad Pitt is a character actor in a leading man's body. He has the look of a leading man, but he has the humility to be a character actor, I think. And that's what he's willing to do that. So he was willing to, as he said in his Oscar speech, ride Leo's coattails anywhere.
You listen to all the speeches? I'm just kidding.
I listen to everyone. But
I only listen to the special technical award speeches, you know.
I'm
or
only
just
here
a
for the
long
governor's
list.
awards.
Thank you to my grandma and my grandpa, and they just cut it all out anyways because nobody cares.
And then don't let us watch it.
Yeah, I don't know. I personally, again, to go back to it, I think there's probably a reason. And I think that they're both smart enough and everything else. They both occupy the same time period. They both came out of the late 60s, bumping into the industry, and then developing this huge stardom in the 1970s that continued on for both of them. They were on different tracks, but basically following very similar career paths, the same time frames.
Yeah, they rose with that new that 70s golden era with the Francis Ford Coppola's, Martin Scorsese's, Spielberg's, the new Hollywood when Jack Valenti revamped and allowed stories to be told. They lived in a different world, but they did it at the same time, following very similar trajectories. And even now, they both do stupid comedies that may or may not work. And
are you saying Jack and Jill with Adam Sandler's a dumb comedy? Come on, man. That's Pacino's best work.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Anywho.
So I do want to say I was watching an interview with Michael Caine, and he was talking about the fact that he doesn't say no a lot. He said somebody came up and said, Jaws the Revenge. That is a terrible movie. He says, I don't know, I never seen it, but the paycheck bought my mom a beautiful house. And I'm like, all right, that's fair. Then I get it. Like, I can't get mad at someone for selling out because the minute Spotify comes calling, I'm selling out and doing whatever you tell me. Like,
they can take whatever paycheck they want. No qualms about that. But anyway,
we're going a little far afield here from the Heat discussion, but who's the only actor that you think hasn't had to, a lot of actors will do like, hey, if I do this one, then you're going to let me do this thing that I want to do, right?
One for them, one for you.
Yeah.
Right. Who's the only actor you could think of that hasn't had to do that?
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey would refuse it, but he did one for them because they got him to do the stupid Ace Ventura 2 when nature calls. True. But at that point, that's when he refused to ever do that again. But director wise, Quentin Tarantino has never done that and wouldn't do that. The closest he ever came to kowtowing to a studio was when he split Kill Bill into 2 movies,
or taking notes on Jackie Brown a little bit.
Yeah, but it was still his story, his thing. But yeah, is there an actor that never gave in?
Maybe there's a reason
about DiCaprio.
Yeah,
DiCaprio is the closest.
He started that way though, early on, but yeah, like he was
like his first movie, Critters 3 or whatever, and then
is it Critters 3?
Growing Pains, right? Was it
Growing Pains? But Brad Pitt did Growing Pains too, so that's okay. So
that makes sense. That makes sense.
He gets a pass.
See, they did work together before in Growing Pains with Kirk Cameron, for Christ's sake.
Been riding his coattails forever. No, but yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio is probably the actor who's come the closest to, he will only do what he wants to do. And the only time he didn't do anything was when he was much younger, 18, 19, 20, because he didn't love Titanic, but it was the thing that gave him the ability to no longer have to say yes to Man in the Iron Mask.
Yeah. Yeah, he did a lot of those in the 90s.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, he did a handful of
he did
questionable.
Romeo and Juliet, but the thing that even as so young, he was doing the Basketball Diaries, What's Eating Gilbert Grape,
One for Them, One for Us, and stuff like that.
Yeah, This Boy's Life with De Niro. Like, he did a lot of great stuff, but he threw in a couple of, and maybe they weren't studio mistakes, maybe they were just young teenager mistakes, like big paycheck, make me say yes to just about anything. But
so true.
Yeah. I think any actor, particularly who comes in, is going to follow that same pattern, at least in the beginning, because until they get wield any kind of power, then they're going to do something that they might not want to. Usually their second film, like they might make a breakout role in the first film, and then the studio says, listen, if you do this movie, we have another movie after that, or we do this movie, maybe we could talk to your buddy who's a producer about doing this project that you've been talking about. But I feel like that second movie, unless you have all the money in the world and all the confidence in the world, you're going to walk in and be like, sure, I'll take that. Romeo and Juliet with pigs. Love it. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, whatever it is, you'll take that second movie because you're thinking about that third one.
that second movie might be the piece of shit movie you did 3 years previously when you were nobody, and now that you are somebody, they're like,
They're
guess
going
what?
to
We're
release
coming out
it.
next.
Yeah. That's what we're doing.
Critters 3.
They're like,
No,
Mr. Hanks, let's
exactly.
talk about that movie you did with the
Mazes
dog,
and Monsters.
Turner and Hooch, which I think is a funny Bobcat joke where he says nobody asks Tom Hanks about Turner and Hooch, but everybody asked me about Hot to Trot. I don't know if you guys remember that crappy movie with Bobcat Goldthwait and the talking horse or something.
Yeah.
He gets a lot of questions about that.
All right, bringing it back.
Sorry,
to
Heat.
Though. No, you're fine. Bringing it back to Heat. I do want to highlight, rest in peace, Val Kilmer. He is absolutely fantastic in this movie. And this movie came out at a time when his stock couldn't be much lower.
Yeah.
Like he was kind of persona non grata in Hollywood, but then he does this and showed that he really has something. He was so good in this movie,
and he could work with an ensemble. He could handle other egos, and also being the smallest star in the room, which is not normal for him. He had trouble with that with Tom Cruise
that was hard for him in Top Gun. Yeah. No, and I actually saw an interview with him when I was doing all my research. He told Michael Mann said, "Hey, I can't pay you your going rate. This is what I can pay you." And he said, "That, you know what, I'll do it. That's cool." He said, "So what can I do to you? How can I Jesus, is there something that I can work into the story or something that you want to highlight?" And he said, "How about on the poster, you put my face right in between De Niro and Pacino?" And that's how the three face thing appeared on the cover box. That's all he wanted. Like, okay,
Genius.
so this guy understood the room he was in.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool.
Or just wanted to make sure he was more prominently displayed than both the more famous co-stars.
Well,
at least in the back of his mind, that's what he tells his wife at home. He's like, by the way,
he didn't want to end up like Vince Valouf.
Vince Valouf. What was he in with him? Doesn't matter. Sorry, sidetrack.
Vince Valouf was in Rat Race, and he's the only main character who doesn't appear on the name as actor name on the cover box. And it's the reason he fired his agent, because his agent didn't negotiate that with everybody else.
It's the reason you don't know who he is either, Bob.
It's why we don't know.
I didn't know him by name either until we did all this. We were originally, Bob, going to call this show off on a tangent or tangential because we can't focus. So apologies.
No, it's fine.
I loved Real Genius when I was a kid, 1985 with Val Kilmer.
So did I.
I was a huge fan, and then I saw and then Top Gun's like what 2 years? Yeah, Gabe Jarrett, Chris Makepeace, Gabe Jarrett. They're all the same kid, man. But anyways, I remember seeing Top Gun. What was it? 86 is Top Gun, and then what year was Real Genius? 85. I guess a year before.
85. It's right around the same time.
Why would I hate Val Kilmer when I loved him so much in Real Genius, but I disliked him for so many years? After that, it was maybe the right age for me to dislike somebody who's that handsome. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like, screw that guy, but he's getting all the girls I'm not getting. I don't know. But whatever it is, I didn't like him. This was the first movie, Heat, that brought me back around, as I think everybody did, to like, this is a cool character he's playing. This is I like this character he's playing. He seems like the best, nicest, or the better of all of them. Do you know what I mean? Like, all of those things about that. So, anyways, just throwing that out there to follow through with that.
And a couple years after,
I want to set us off on another tangent real quick, though,
for any
of your viewers or listeners who are on the fence about whether or not they should watch this movie again. I want them to go back and watch it and tell me what the hell is going on with Val Kilmer's elbow in this movie.
Elbow?
Now I have to watch.
You guys not seen it?
I have to.
He's got some sort of a carbuncle type growth on his elbow through this entire movie, and no one ever mentions it.
Really?
It's huge. It's absolutely enormous. And I remember the first time I watched.
What did he die of? It wasn't this, right?
Lung
cancer. It wasn't elbow related, as far as I know.
Thank God. Sorry, I just wanted to verify that before we go off on this conversation.
No, it's if you haven't noticed it before, it's now the only thing I could look at whenever he gets on the screen.
Now it's all I'm going to see.
Unless he's according
to the Google. The Googles, when he was filming The Doors, he hurt his elbow filming, and he ended up with olecranon bursitis that left him with an abnormal growth on his elbow that is noticeable in Heat.
Noticeable is an understatement. They should have put him in like a big oversized coat for the whole movie because that's all.
Hide his elbow.
Yes.
Put him in an elbow brace or something. Wrap it up like he has a tennis injury or something.
Digitally erase one arm and just have him be the one-armed guy with the machine gun.
Right.
That's the use of the special effects.
Yeah.
Michael Mann's got the ability. He had the money and the cachet to have that covered up. He could have done something.
Yeah. But I love someone made a decision going like, should we put something in the story about why this is? Because otherwise it's visible and someone said
just start it with him getting beat with a baseball bat after screwing up. Or something.
Yeah.
Something.
Write it into the plot. Like somebody would be like, what happened to your arm? Oh, I was playing tennis too much yesterday.
The way they did for Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill's in the car accident and hurts and gets the scar on his lip, so they have him get hit by the snow monster. The whip accident in Last Crusade to explain why Indiana Jones has a scar on his lip. There are you can work that into a story and make it a thing. So now you're highlighting the injury. Remember, he's hurt.
Yeah. Highlight it, don't hide it.
Makes him more sympathetic.
Yes.
Yeah. Someone said, no, we don't need to do that.
Just
keep
or his contract's like, you take me how I am.
But
put my elbow front and center on that poster, man.
Your face on the poster is half the size of the head of Pacino, De Niro. We don't think
his elbow prominently sticks out on the poster.
But that's the thing but you mentioned the sympathy. This movie there's no victory. There's no redemption. Yeah. It just ends up with these two guys with a better understanding of themselves and each other.
Do they really understand themselves or each other any better?
No, but if anything, that's how you.
I don't know if they do.
But yeah,
you made me question everything I thought about this movie as soon as you were like, but did they though? I'm like, wow, maybe they did.
Maybe they did because it led me thinking they did, but now I'm wondering.
Nah. The music at the end. The score at the end makes you think that something actually was accomplished mentally, but nothing happened.
Right. And you did what's his face? Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro's breaks his own rule to settle and stops to settle the score. He doesn't. 30 seconds, leave everything and run. When he feels the heat, he doesn't. He stops to settle the score. There's some really cool stuff at the ending. But before we move on, I want to know, where does this land in? If you had to give this a rating of out of 5, where does this fall for you? Is this a perfect film?
Is that to me?
Yeah, it's good. Start with the guest first.
I'm gonna piggyback on what you said and ask a question of you guys. I'm gonna say it's a 4, and here's why. And I want to know if you feel the same.
Sure.
The character that Amy Brenneman plays,
the
love interest of Robert De Niro. Yeah. Were it not for her, I would have said it was a 5, but I was never able to understand why, when she learned what he really did for a living, she stuck around. And I could not, it wasn't enough for me. He didn't really even get an explanation. It was more of a sort of well, this is just what I do. And, I'm not going to be like that anymore. And it'll be better. We'll be together. You'll see.
Yeah.
She's like, okay. And I'm like, hold that time out. That was super easy for you to do.
They should have Goodfellas did, which Scorsese did, which is when he goes and hands her the gun in Goodfellas after he beat the hell out of the other guy, and she is narrating her own, I can't remember her name, but narrating her own thing, and she says, what can I tell you? It was exciting to be around him. It was exciting to be a part of this criminal world. Had they just thrown that one single line in there and given her some sort of age, they didn't give her any agency.
No agency.
Her character didn't matter. Her thoughts didn't really matter. She's just an ancillary character. She's a prop. But anyways, had they done that, they could have probably put one small line in there and then given that character a little more depth too. But anyways, I'm sorry. Keep going, Bob. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that would have been a 5 for me if that little change had been.
Just with that, see, and for me, I had it at a 4 also, but it's only because I think it is, as Michael Mann is wont to do, it's a little long-winded.
Yeah.
They could have tightened it up.
He likes long shots, man. He loves them.
If he could have taken 10% off of every shot and had a tight 2 hour and 20-minute movie that would have flown by. Instead, we have a 2 hour and 50-minute movie or something. Other than that, though, because I can't just sit down and watch this on a Saturday afternoon because I got to give up 3 hours of my life, or with Dave math, 3 hours and 15 minutes of my life to watch this. Yeah, but now there's two things that I have to do. I have to rewatch it and give special attention. I was too focused on everything else to not really care about Amy Brenneman.
Yeah,
it didn't register on me, and I got to watch Val Kilmer's elbow.
she's a prop. That's why she doesn't stand out that much. She doesn't really drive any of the story forward. You think that the notion is that she's a plot device used for him, right? But that's all. They don't give her any more dimension than that. So that would make sense. So you give it a what, Bell? A 4?
I give it a 4 also.
Even with the elbow. I'm just kidding.
Well, I
never noticed the elbow, but I swear to God, the next time I watch it, which will probably be it right away, but that's probably all I'm going to focus on. I'm going to be like, God damn it, Bob, you ruined this forever. Like, that's all I'm going to be able to see. It's all your fault. It's this lady and this elbow. But anyways, let's just say, because, you know, I watched it very recently. I would probably give it around a 4 also. Like, I do remember it being long. Michael Mann does tend to do that. There's these long sweeping shots. Like in Collateral, I don't know how many more overhead, at the time, helicopter shots that they didn't have drones yet. So they're doing these long helicopter shots of this car driving through the city and stuff. It's beautiful. It's fine. But if 40% of your movie is that, then, you know, I digress. So that being said, I think some of that could be chopped out. I think just talking about the one-dimensional female character makes me reevaluate the movie a little bit, which is weird because I do want to see female characters given agency. I want to see them have stories. I want to see more of them passing the Bechdel test. I want to see all of those things happening.
All those things.
You know what I mean? And it's funny to think of all these movies that I revere and so much like that, and how much they don't follow that. I don't blame them for that, and I'm not going to dislike them, but it makes me wish I liked them more. Does that make sense?
And I think how would
Diane Venora had a more agency as Vincent Hanna's wife than Amy Brenneman did.
Yeah.
And does this movie suffer if that storyline is completely written out? That's what I mean. Why even have that story in there? Because I don't need a reason to root for or against De Niro. I already have enough based on the actions of the character and the way he goes about his life. I don't need this added dimension of a love interest. It's just, again, if we just find 30 minutes, cut that storyline out. And
I really like the way that he treated LA as a city, and that I wanted it to be kind of a living, breathing part of the. I totally get what you were saying about, you know, Thief and Collateral, and a lot of his movies are overly long, but this one I give it a pass just because I want to see all the details about each of the crimes that De Niro's crew is committing. He goes into so much detail that I'm okay with it. And I'm in for the ride. Obviously, if I have podcast editing to do, it's going to cut podcast editing time, but I would still watch it.
Right.
Yeah. And
makes sense.
Like you said, though, the way that Los Angeles is treated with wide shots emphasizing like emotional distance. It's this lonely, sterile, vast place that is LA. And the way he uses the blue tint to give it that almost otherworldly feel. You're right. LA is very much a character in this
the whole thing. Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
I like that.
Just like Quick Change.
The elbow just a little
bit.
Just
Just like Quick Change. New York City is
a whole character.
It's a whole character.
Have you seen that, Bob? Quick Change with Bill Murray? Have you ever seen that movie? I love that movie.
Yep.
Sorry. Yep. We talked about that a lot recently.
We did a whole thing we did a whole episode on heist movies. So we talked a little bit about
we only touched on Heat a little bit because it's
Heat.
So prominently known.
Yeah,
you know, I think we were talking about Fifi and all the French new wave movies that nobody watches but us.
And obscure movies that no one's ever heard of.
Oh my God, Rafifi's on my shelf right now. I would show you if I could move the camera.
It's an amazing movie. It's an amazing movie.
Is in my shopping cart on Amazon right now. I've been planning to buy it since a month ago when we recorded that episode, and I just haven't.
It's an amazing movie, considering when it was made. It's great. Yeah, that sequence is cool. The 32 minutes and stuff is awesome. Anyways, I like Heat. Obviously,
Yes.
we all did. I kind of wish they had, as you said, Belle, maybe my reasoning behind it, by the way, for why they focused so much on that was because of that trailer. Because that's what I remember. And I remember in the poster, I swear to God, I didn't even remember that Val Kilmer was on the poster. I just remembered in my head that it was De Niro and Pacino facing off against each other because that was supposed to be the tension. That's how it was advertised, how it was discussed. I remember seeing interviews at the time. I don't know how many, but a few at some point where they were always trying to ask, like they were asking, are you ready to work with De Niro? Are you ready to work with Pacino? How does it feel to have you guys finally on screen together? All those things, like all the pressure being built around something like that. And it was just such, I don't know. I don't think Pacino held it. I think De Niro's a better actor,
Right.
mostly. I don't know. And I think that it takes away from the movie. So,
all right. So one last question regarding Heat. Michael Mann has confirmed that Heat 2 is happening. They have the script. Everything's progressing. They plan to start filming next year. What are your thoughts? I believe they have said it's going to be part prequel, part sequel. What do we think about Heat 2?
Boys, I heard DiCaprio was taking the lead in this movie.
Really?
And, that's what I heard. And I have the novel on my shelf that I need to read, and I will read before I watch it.
I actually learned in my research for this episode that Heat 2 was a popular novel, even like it did pretty good for the novel. But yeah, it's I can't find anything to tell me who all is going to be in it, other than Al Pacino has confirmed that he will be taking on his role again, and that Leonardo DiCaprio is taking over the role of Val Kilmer. So that's the rumors as of right now. No confirmation.
Oh, okay.
On that yet. But
so yeah, I can't wait.
Heat 2 coming to a theater near you probably in 2027.
Electric Boogaloo.
So let's pivot to the last segment because Dave loves the cheesy FM radio DJ stuff.
No. Watch the stacks. Turn the stacks on the whack.
Hold on. Did one of you guys do that, or did you go to Fiverr and have somebody do it for you?
No, I use it on. I use CapCut, and I alter my voice. It has a voice altering thing, so I just record myself and let it change me.
Well, the one time it'll be heard.
Yeah, that's it. That's true. I do it just to see Dave's face because neither one of us like it, but it's hilarious.
I like your instincts, Bella. Not that one though. Anyways,
not that one. It's a bad instinct.
I'm listening.
All right. So here's our the hot seat. 10 rapid fire questions. Not really rapid. Not really fire. 10.
Wow. Okay. Got it.
First movie that you remember seeing in a theater.
Raiders of the Lost Ark with my dad.
Mine was E.T. also with my dad.
Excellent.
Go-to comfort film when you just need a reset.
Heat.
With most
of nothing says reset like 3 hours of
cartoon on Heat.
Yeah. Violence in the streets too. Yeah. It's so
weirdly enough, I think it's probably Jaws.
Jaws.
Yeah, I love every scene where the shark isn't in it is excellent.
Peaceful. Yeah. And Roy Scheider is a soothing
That's some
voice.
bad hat, Harry. All right. A movie you'll defend no matter what anyone says.
Does that mean it has to be like an unpopular opinion kind of thing?
Yeah, whatever.
Like something that most people hate?
Like for me,
there's no grading on these questions. So
no, there's no. This is just gut feeling. No, I
feel like I'm being silently judged though.
No,
we are completely
right.
No,
not at all.
Our motto says never yucking your yum. So I'm not here. No. So I think the idea behind a question like this is because if you highlight a movie that you love and you give a reason why you love it, then I can go rewatch that movie and maybe find joy where I may not have seen it before.
Or the opposite, some fun. We have our fan Mel, my wife, who is a huge fan of Love Actually and
we didn't love Actually.
Footloose, and she had us watch those, and we sat down and we kind of dissected them on the show. Special episodes. Okay.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't mean we didn't like it. It means it's fun to make fun of it. But I would never say that somebody shouldn't like those things.
Yeah,
right.
Not sure very few things
when I watched it, but there's a little bit of
You guys were mean.
Yeah, maybe. But it's fun
I was
that way.
trying to. It was the first one that I'd ever watched of your show, and so I wasn't sure whether or not. I'm like, is this a joke? Does he really like this, or is he only pretending to like it? And I could never figure it out.
Yeah.
And I just decided to leave it for like, oh, this is one of those nebulous things that the audience isn't supposed to figure out.
You put your own.
I gave it a good
principles
score.
on it.
I gave it a good score at the end.
Yeah.
It's just fun to make fun of it. It's my wife, so it's easy to make fun of it to my wife.
Well, that's
And poking fun at her as much as anything else. But it's all right, you know.
yeah.
And
But that being said,
such a
I would
good
never judge her for liking what she likes.
No,
She likes
absolutely
reality television. I'm glad she has something that makes her happy. So anyway,
Yeah.
to go back to your
Okay,
response,
I got
there's no wrong answer. I promise.
There's
no judgment.
I got it.
Just don't pick Love Actually.
Nope. I'm going to go with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead.
Okay.
Because that is the movie that I think I've recommended. It's been the most recommended movie that has never gotten anybody to follow through and actually watch it. Everybody has poo-pooed it and said, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll check it out. And they never have, ever. If you did, you'd be the first.
Okay. I'll check it out.
I've seen it, and I tried to get my daughters to watch it because they had to study Hamlet in high school, and they couldn't get. And like you said, couldn't even get them to do it. They wouldn't even try. They're like,
right?
What? It's about two
Oliver
characters.
says,
That
I only
aren't even
got
part of
through
the show.
halfway, and then I had to stop. Like they don't even start.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I thought the back and forth, the actors were incredible, and it was a different take on Shakespeare than I'd ever seen before. But I have never ever gotten anybody to actually watch a minute of it based on a record.
I will be the first. I promise you that.
Thanks, David.
And then a film that made you want to talk about movies in the first place.
Oh man, that's a good one. I think it probably started with Reservoir Dogs. I was dating my wife at the time, and in Detroit, there was the Fillmore Theater downtown that would have like brew and view. So you go up there, you get a table, get a couple of beers, and watch a movie. And they were showing that movie, and it was the first of the, that period of early '90s, independent cinema that we had seen in a group setting, and the whole place was just blown away. And we did the whole Twin Peaks thing of like going to get, dessert after the movie to talk about it.
Yeah.
And that was probably the first one. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
a good one.
Great movie. Great.
Yeah.
And we are unabashed Quentin Tarantino lovers on this show.
Yeah. And the same thing, Clerks around the same time inspired me because I thought, well, what in that? Like, you can do this? Like, that's considered a movie? Like,
Clerks, not only did it show that we could do it, but it also reflected the life we live. We shopped at a little corner market like that. We knew people that worked at the corner market like that. Never played hockey on the roof, but we worked at the video store next door to the market like that. Like, we lived that very life. So
yeah, I was the Randall character.
You were the Randall character? I was going to ask, who is Dante?
Neither one of us.
Neither one of us.
My buddy Max was the Dante character.
I'm not even
he actually worked at the gas pumps in Oregon where you had to have somebody pump your gas for you.
Yeah.
It was a convenience store gas station. I'm sorry, go ahead.
All right. Vinyl or streaming? What's your preferred way to listen to music?
Vinyl, if I can. Streaming is obviously super easy to do, and therefore I don't want to do it.
Yeah. It also sounds better. That's a silly question, Belle. Vinyl sounds better. Any music file knows.
You see my vinyl collection right there? Like, I get it. Like, I know. I love vinyl. I get it.
But the hassle of it.
I didn't feel you were fighting me on that, Josh. I feel
I feel like Dave was. Dave was calling me out.
Vinyl. I know that was a dumb question, but that's all right. Whatever.
Yeah, but I digress. One album you'd take with you to a desert island, assuming you could play an album.
Does he have a player there? Like,
let's assume I made one out of a couple of seashells and a turtle.
The Professor.
Gilligan's Island. Yeah.
Dark Side of the Moon.
Dark Side. Oh,
no question.
Love Pink Floyd. All right. This one's
you got any hard questions there, Josh? I thought these were going to be brain busters.
No, never. They're supposed to just be fun.
All right.
This one's a two-parter. I want your favorite director and a director you think is overrated.
Oh, that's a good second part to that. Scorsese's got to be my favorite. Overrated.
Michael Mann. Just kidding.
That'd be really something if we did a whole show that was dedicated to one of his movies and then shit on him at the end, like just nonstop for like 20 minutes.
That sounds like something we'll do on an episode eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You haven't heard the wrap up yet. I'm just kidding.
Right. I'll go back to Dave's comment at the very beginning. Michael Bay. Michael Bay is incredibly overrated. I can't think of a single movie of his that I would willingly pay to see.
His mom knows that too, though. So, and his wife
does.
and his kids, and they're like, "You overrated, Dad."
There's this TV show called Psych, and in one of the episodes, a character says he's like doing a video diary thing, and he says, "You know what? Don't get me started on Michael Bay because that man ruined Hollywood. Oh, it's too late. I'm started because everybody knows Michael Bay is that bad." All right. What is for you, the funniest movie line ever written?
Funniest movie line.
Frankly, Scarlett. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. That was pretty funny.
You said the funniest line?
The funniest line you can think of. I'm Ron Burgundy.
Those aren't pillows.
Those aren't.
Probably.
Oh, shout out, John. Call back to John Candy. I love it.
I like me. That's a good one.
I like me. God, I gotta watch that.
I feel like all three of us will be watching this weekend.
Crime.
So two things have to be true for me to watch that. My wife is ready to watch it, and I'm okay to cry. So those two things.
You can't watch it without your wife?
If I watch it without her, she'll make me watch it again with her, and I don't want to cry twice.
Just once.
If you cry once by yourself, then you watch it again, you probably won't cry, or at least not as bad.
Or more.
I'm a sympathetic crier, so when she tears up, I'll tear up. Who would play you in the movie version of the Schnozzcast?
Spader. They have to be
Spader. All right. And I got to admit, real quick, before I go to the 10th and final question, when I first heard the Schnozzcast, I'm like, is this going to be like a Jimmy Durante fan club or something?
Just because of the name?
Schnoz. Yeah. That's all I thought it was Jimmy Durante. Because I am.
That's an old school callback that all 6 listeners are going to get there. No, Jimmy who?
Big meaning will know it.
Jimmy
Durante. Big meaning will know it.
How do you spell Durante? Yeah.
All right. And then the question that I gave you a heads up to, you've got one drink, one record, and one movie for the night. What are they?
It's going to be single malt scotch. It's going to be Talking Heads speaking in tongues, and it's going to be Pulp Fiction. I have zero comment, and there is no way to improve that. Like, love David Byrne, love Talking Heads, love Pulp Fiction.
I was thinking like that should be my list too.
Like when I was more of a drinker, Scotch was my go-to. Like that. All right. The only thing I disagree with is James Spader because I don't look like him.
You don't?
Yeah, neither do I. But I didn't know you had to.
I want Tom Sizemore, but Tom Sizemore now.
Well, which one of you is impotent? Like the sexualized videotape James Spader, right? Is that what we're talking about?
That's a great movie.
It is a very good movie.
Well, that is going to do it for this episode of Couch Critics. A huge thank you to our guest, Bob Rankin, a.k.a. the one and only Gern Blanston, for hanging out here, Bob. Stories and bringing some of that Schnozzcast energy to the couch. If you haven't checked out the Schnozzcast yet, go check it out. Give it a listen. It is on YouTube. 350 some odd, more than that, episodes. If we listen to Bob, don't go too far back. Stick to the more recent ones. It's available whenever
the Wizard of Oz one's good. Wizard of Oz one's one of the most recent. That one's really good.
That's the one it's queued up for me to listen to as soon as we are done. Well, as I'm editing, I will be listening. It's one of those shows that feels like catching up with old friends over great conversation and a few laughs and occasional shots of Fireball. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. You can find Couch Critics on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and don't forget, follow us on Instagram at Real Talk for behind-the-scenes clips, upcoming announcements, and bonus content. And please give us that 5-star rating and leave a review. It doesn't do anything for the algorithm, but it does for our hearts. And as Dave always says,
I need the validation. We both do.
Check this box.
Check
you
that
like
box.
If
you
you
like
this
me.
show. This has been Couch Critics, the show where two grown men talk passionately
About a bunch of things that absolutely do not affect our lives.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.